the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a beautiful Monday afternoon on Division 1. My name is Hawk, and joining me on the show for, well, maybe the first time ever, and I don't know, maybe the last, we'll find out, is Auk Battery. Auk, how you doing today?
I'm having fun. We've got a lot of, got some good League of Legends here today. One team will definitely be winning.
One team will probably be winning a match of League of Legends today. Who knows? Maybe we'll play 2 games, call it a draw. Don't think that one's in the cards. Just a reminder for everyone out there as well, we do only have 1 match on the docket for today. It is going to be Maryville up against Stony Brook University. A couple of 2 2-0 teams throwing down against one another at the top of the table. Maryville wanting to search for their undefeated season, while Stony Brook, well, they're off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, they're 4-0. They're doing better than Maryville. You know, they're undefeated. They're actually undefeated here in Division 1, but their schedule has been very, very easy, going against Boise State and West Virginia, two of the worst teams here in Division 1. So I think for Stony Brook, it's going to be really, really key for them today to actually show up and prove that they are potentially the fourth best team, as we've been positing here on the broadcast.
Yeah, I think high expectations, as we mentioned, for Maryville this season, and then also for the rivals St. Clair and Winthrop, who happen to have been their opponents that they've played in the first couple weeks. So definitely different tales in terms of strength of schedule between these two teams. But I agree with you. I think Stony Brook, they were one of the standouts in the previous collegiate season that kind of came out of nowhere in the East Conference. And now here in Division 1, I do think they have a fantastic opportunity to really prove themselves amongst the upper echelons of collegiate programs here in North America. But they have an absolute mountain to climb. Now, Dimitri, I want to posit this. I know yesterday, you were going into the show thinking, hey, their competition, maybe their most direct competition, Ohio State, if they look good, maybe they're going to be the first place team. They did not. So it does leave the door open for Stony Brook to maybe do something today.
Look, if Stony Brook are the ones to defeat Maryville, it would be probably the funniest thing to happen in the collegiate offseason for this year. I think it would be, obviously Clarkey would not be happy. There's probably going to be a lot of miles being ran by the entire team if we're losing to Stony Brook, but I still think that the race for fourth in my mind is still not clear. We still are kind of waiting to see Stony Brook versus Ohio State in my mind. Mostly it's just Grapes. Grapes has been saying that Stony Brook is fourth, and that's just because he wants to show love for his East Conference brethren. But I don't think it's real. I think it's very fake, and hopefully we can have some of that proven here tonight by...
Hey, man, don't sleep. Look, they were pretty good last year, all right? But both them and Ohio State, they had something to show us last year, right? But I think I'm on the Stony Brook train. It is a very different roster than what we saw for most of 2025. So they are kind of coming into Division 1 with very much a new look. One of the players that I want to draw attention to is their mid laner, though, Yana Hamasaila, a new player coming into the team, replacing who I also thought was a great mid laner and going up now against Toasty Alex. Yana Hamasaila, the MVP of week 2 off of some really impressive performances. And if we can maybe bring up our head-to-head stats, it's going to tell two very different stories, but let's not forget strength of schedule has been a major consideration.
Oh my God, Toasty Alex, 478% gold per minute, the GOAT. I mean, Toasty, I think Toasty in general, alongside all of Maryville, have started to struggle a little bit at the start of the season. Part of it is something that Shimmer was noting because of the fact that they're running kind of a 6-man roster, not including Spyrax being the super sub that he is. They haven't really been as clean to start off Div 1, but I think Toasty has continued to prove that he is one of the most exciting prospects outside of Tier 1, and up against Yana Hamasaila, I think that should be an easy matchup. Yana Hamasaila, I think, has been not quite as bulletproof in the laning phase, and again, that strength of schedule really means a lot.
Does definitely have a great opportunity to maybe prove himself against Toasty Alex. I do think expectations are that Toasty should have a handle on this matchup, but I do want to dive a little bit deeper into this conversation, Dimitri, because Toasty, as you mentioned, one of the most exciting prospects that we have outside of Tier 1 in our entire region in any role. However, I would posit that summer split of 2025, he has not been as electric as perhaps a lot of fans were expecting. Has he still been very good? Of course. Is he still probably the best mid laner in this league? Of course. But I think we've been wanting to see him take that next step. And at least for me personally, and I know I'm not alone in this opinion, it hasn't quite happened yet. So do you feel at all that there could be a door open here for the Stony Brook mid laner, or is Toasty just sort of going through some growing pains with the new squad?
I think if we just get rid of all of the narratives, casters talk about the game type beat, I think it really does kind of still side over to Toasty. Mechanically, I think Toasty has still been performing fine. And I have not seen a team outside of even our top 2 really proved to me individually that they are going to handily defeat any other of our, like, the top 2 versus the bottom 6 aren't really going to hands check our opponents. I think Sword on Winthrop has been performing pretty decently. I think that Flocon in individual matchups actually has been performing a lot better. And yeah, Toasty hasn't been all that so far in all of 2025, but I'm willing to maybe chalk that up to kind of the change of staff that's going on and almost the change of guard with 3 freshmen joining the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very new look for MU. I mean, even over the course of this year as well, they've had multiple players coming in and out, but I think expectations definitely are. They want to hit that undefeated regular season, and we got the draft ready to go. So let's see if they can do it. Game 1 against Stony Brook on deck.
Oh, man. All right. So important champions, obviously, we kind of seen that in response to this patch, Orianna has grown in priority a ton. Pantheon is also something that is going to be really, really impactful here. We saw Shimmer actually get a Penta last week. So I'm kind of wondering what form of Maryville we're going to see and if we're going to see any kind of experimentation. As you can see at the bottom of our screens here, no, that is not a mistype. No, that is not an error. Spyrax is going to be starting in the AD carry position tonight for Maryville.
Yeah, you already called him the super sub. He's the super swag super sub. That's his solo queue ID right now. He played top lane last week against St. Clair. Now he's going down bottom against the Chubby Pig. So I'm really excited for this matchup. Dude, also, one of my favorite things ever, Ketong and Cryogen. Kind of 2 different eras, I feel like, of NACL player, but about the same amount of NACL experience, actually, between the 2 of them, because Cryogen, notoriously not really able to find a starting spot over his first few years in the region, whereas Ketong has always just kind of come up to be a sub every couple of weeks, for academy teams back in the day.
Oh, don't remind me. Don't remind me of the guys we're adding Ketong to the roster for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, please. But yeah, I think that's actually a really interesting shout. We'll see whether or not Cryogen can kind of prove now that he's on a top level roster. I feel like this next year is going to really kind of make or break what could potentially happen with him. We get through the first phase of bans and we're already getting kind of some interesting pocket picks. Dancing with the BL's Yorick was really, really strong last week. Now we're seeing a Garen on Blue 1. Okay, we're doing well. We got an interview with him at the beginning of the season, and he was saying that top lane was kind of a role that for him is just about managing expectations, stabilizing, because it is a very swingy role. Into Bessa, I don't think this is a good matchup at all. Okay, Crimson, we're trying to still check our opponents.
I'm a little bit surprised to see Crimson pulling this one out. Now, for Crimson as well, we talk about he's been a great player in Tier 2 over the last couple of years, but stepping into this Maryville roster, I think he's really been trying to find his footings. Been a lot of meta so far. Ambessa not really bucking that trend. Alongside of Jarvan, it's Maryville continuing to do what they do best. Go in, dive on top of people, and one-shot them. But I agree. I don't love this matchup for the young Maryville top laner.
Okay, so you get dive. You're also going to have a lot of ways of being able to stop the melees, of being able to move forward if that's really what Shimmer is going to be looking for. Stony Brook, simple draft. Get a good matchup topside, even though it's blind. And now we have Poppy Vagar already coming on through. So in theory, it should be difficult for Maryville to try to dive. In execution, we'll see what that's going to look like. Even into the Azir, I don't think this is looking good here for Maryville.
No, it's really not.
Yeah.
Like, Vagar, after the range buffs, hits from really far away, and Azir is not the longest range champion out there. Like, he has to be able to stand an auto tag. He's decidedly a mid-range mage. And I honestly wonder if the read from Stony Brook is, hey, Maryville's going to play dive, and Crimson almost exclusively plays fighters. So let's just pick Garen, which kind of feasts on fighters, and go from there. And we talk about Stony Brook saying on the show last week that, hey, we don't need to prep our first 2 opponents. We thought we had those covered. Maybe we will against Maryville. Perhaps this is something. As now moving into the second phase of picks and bans, we are not loving Maryville's composition. They are targeting out engaged supports. Those are likely going to be the focuses for both of these players in this series. However, I do want to put it in our minds that Ketong has not been afraid to play weird shit, especially, excuse me, in the collegiate space.
Yep.
Zillion, being one that I really think of and associate with Ketong.
Just look at his champion pool this year for Ketong. Swain, Nautilus, Shaco, and Jarvan. Those are the 4 champions he's played in his games already here in Division 1. So I think Maryville do need to be a little bit respectful, and they're giving Cryogen the counter matchup. I think that's a good idea, especially when you have a player as creative as Ketong. I think Stony Brook, short-ranged, I don't know if Sivir really gets the chance to stand her ground and auto-attack, but I also do think that Sivir is not really going to be the main focus of this composition. The 2v2 is going to be good for them versus the Kai'Sa. Now let's see. I mean, Nico is available for Cryo if you're trying to really slam lane. I kind of want to see what he's going to be going for.
So I do want to just point out as well, this is going to be Bard for Cryo. Bard Kai'Sa. That's one of the lanes of all time for sure. I do want to just point out, we got word from production that I don't think Dancing with the BL is as big of a Chad as we think, as this was in role order. So this is not the order that the champions were drafted in. So it was more than likely a Garen countered into the Ambessa, but regardless, we do have the full compositions, a lot of scaling, a lot of spacing for Stony Brook on their side. Whereas we mentioned Maryville, it's go forward.
Yeah, there's still an ability here for Maryville to scale later. Like Kai'Sa on 3 items, I think becomes really difficult for Sivir to deal with as the game goes on. Bard versus these immobile carries actually gets a ton of value. So I'm wondering, are we maybe dumbing down some of our play patterns here for Maryville just to get us through the early game? Because we saw in the Winthrop series, they were kind of struggling. Scary Jerry in particular was a player that kind of struggled in the first 15 minutes of the game in lane and kind of in big team fights. And then against St. Clair, yes, it was a 2-0, but like you're mentioning, if you just took a snapshot at 10 minutes and we ended the game there, that would have been a St. Clair win.
Oh, yeah. But for both games, I mean, it could have been a 2-0. St. Clair was so effectively able to find advantages. And a lot of the problems for Maryville, you mentioned Scary Jerry not playing here today. He's not benched. He's just, having a nice little fall vacation. But with Spyrax coming in, I'm not really convinced that's going to alleviate the pressure that has been put on Maryville's bottom lane so far this Division 1 series. And so, yeah, Sivir Leona, it's not exactly the picks that are going to be able to super effectively punish the 2v2. There definitely is the ability. And I think when we're looking at short range on the side of Maryville, I think the biggest thing is that Stony Brook, through draft, absolutely has a chance. They have a lot of outplay buttons that they can press on the people that are going to be trying to outplay them. And although Maryville's team fighting has been pretty much immaculate so far this season, that doesn't mean they're, completely invulnerable.
Yeah. I really feel like this draft exemplifies our head-to-head that we came in for tonight. Yanhama Syla on this Veigar, probably the most important basic ability in this entire game is going to be that Event Horizon, giving that massive AoE stun if he's able to land it onto multiple members. You can stop Kai'Sa in the middle for dash if that's apparently well timed. So I want to see if he's going to be able to play, because he was talking a pretty big game last week in the post-game interview. And if you're able to take down basically the widely regarded best team here in Division 1, that immediately turns some heads and potentially puts you on top for playoffs.
It most certainly does. Just imagine a world where Maryville's perfect season gets ruined by State University of New York, Stony Brook, and they go on to 3-0. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but the fact that it could happen, and the fact that through this draft, we're sitting here feeling like, okay, there's definitely something here. That's what brings a smile to my face. Stony Brook setting themselves up for the opportunity to do something that no one really thinks any school in this entire league can do. They've just got to have the hands to do it. I think for me, eyes definitely on the solo lanes for them to be able to get advantages. And for the Chubby Pig, just scale up, be effective on the Sivir. I think we're only a couple minutes away from loading into game. Here we go.
He needs minutes. I think we really got to be careful here. I know we were trying to imagine a world where it would actually win here for Stony Brook and the Seawolves, but I think Clerky would be very mad. Clerky would be very sad, and Division 1 as a program may cease to exist if Maryville lose here today. I don't want to over exaggerate too much, but
I mean, maybe a little extreme on that front. I feel like, knowing Dan, I think he is legitimately interested in compelling competition when making this league, not just, you know, padding Maryville's collegiate KDA, if you will, but I definitely do agree. It does at times feel like this is just another platform for Maryville to be able to continue to flex their dominance, because we all know, and fans at Collegiate know, that they are the #1 program of all time, and it really is up to all these other schools to prove that they have anything to say about it.
All right, everybody. We have now surpassed our 10 minutes of MU Glaze, so we can continue with the show as normal. Junglers starting on top side right now. Shimmer, it'll be interesting to watch what he's going to do in the early game. You'll always have the option to go for early ganks as this Jarvan level 2 and level 3, but really what I want to kind of see is how he can place around, particularly this bottom lane, because Spyrax, how much actual resources is he going to get?
Ooh, an early heal popped by Cryogen just to take a good trade. Spyrax has that lethal tempo, so good damage going down. One more auto would kill Ketong, has to flash it early, and the Chubby Pig not really able to fire back enough damage. It was Stony Brook that started the trade, but it's Maryville that finishes it, and Kaisa getting control of the wave early in the Sivir matchup. Definitely what you like to see.
That's pretty tough. That's that Electrocute Bard coming on through here for Cryo. Doing really, really well into this 2v2. Ketong shouldn't have access to the Eclipse quite yet. I was looking back at the draft, I posted it in our channel, but this was a blind Garen with Crimson getting a Bessa on 5. So Crimson feeling like he's going to be able to scale. In my mind, theoretically, when I shadowbox these two champions, I feel like Garen basically just stat checks and Bessa at all points of the game. But I'd be interested to see what Crimson's going to be able to do to flip the matchup, if anything at all.
Yeah, it is very surprising. I mean, I think, like, later on, you know, Crimson will be perfectly safe, happy to clear out waves with his AoE. But for both these champions, the weakest part of their game is that pre-level 6 before they get those big combat ultimates online. And Bessa really likes having the sustain to come through as well. And Bessa, with that weak pre-6, just not really going to be one to punish this Garen before he can just Demacian Judgment you at a 3rd HP and before he can sustain through any of the trades that Crimson might be able to lay down.
I do kind of low-key, talking about Garen, I do kind of miss the villain mechanic, but that was because I was a Garen abuser right before they got rid of it. We're gonna have Shimmer come through.
Magical Journey. Ketong absolutely dead, has no flash. Spyrax needs another auto and the Acathian Rain, and now Crimson, he's got Dancing with the BL, level 6, not needed. That's going to be a solo kill as Crimson kept the wave on his side of the lane.
Poppy went to go finish her last camp, and Shimmer does it a little bit quicker as this Jarvan makes a way on the bottom side thanks to Cryogen and the Magical Journey. And just across the lanes now, Maryville get to find a lot of success. We have the Crimson solo kill happening in topside. He'll be able to teleport. This wave is even pushing into him, so everything going well for the Saints early.
And if we thought it was concerning what Maryville from a deficit looks like, then from a lead is even scarier. As Tempest, here's the Poppy Veigar combo. Toasty Alex does have the shifting sands to slink away on 1 HP. But Tempest and Yana Hamasila trying to at least link up and make something happen.
Oh, man. Wow. All right, well, we got to see it early. That's kind of what I wanted to see. That was a pretty big investment, I think, coming in for the side of Stony Brook. It sucks that Toasty Alex didn't end up falling, but now the Azir doesn't have flash, and if we're going to see Maryville eventually move this guy, maybe we see that 6-minute timer around the Grubs and they try to pull mid from Maryville's side, that is an angle for them to try to abuse their opponents and look for a little bit of early action here. So looking forward though, Hawk, I mean, this bottom lane is getting pushed. Sivir's only going to miss this next bit. Ooh, get to the BL, please.
Q2 able to hit it, and that's just going to be the passive
What?
proc. Yeah, Dancing with the BL dies with the wave, pushing out, and now Yana Hamasila gets chained up by Cryo, does get his flash forced, but at least keeps his life. However, having just TP'd back, that's tough.
That's extremely tough. I mean, is Azir actually going to be able to properly punish? You see immediately that Stony Brook, they put a ward over the Raptors because they know, hey, there's a Bard and there's a Jarvan. Always have to be afraid.
All right, still looking aggressively for these trades. I've been critical of Cryo at times, sometimes maybe going a little bit too far forward, taking bad angles or overstaying in fights, but you can never say that this player doesn't have aggression, and his ability to find angles cannot really be understated, as Shimmer does not have the smite. Maybe he doesn't have a way out as the Poppy makes his presence felt. Tempest able to find a steadfast presence, but it's Spyrax that gets the kill. And now Chubby Pig, he doesn't have the HP to make things happen. One more passive proc would kill him. Spyrax gives up his life for the cause, and Shimmer escapes with only 1 HP.
Cryo?
Keatong the assassin, rather Cryo the assassin, I don't know what that was. He's got his flash. He's gonna be fine. Able to get over the wall on 1. And what was that? Was that a 1-for-1 at the end of the day?
Yeah, we traded Keatong's life for Spyrax. Spyrax keeps both of his summoner's spells, but misses out on a fair chunk of that wave. And that was a timer there for Shimmer where he was thinking he could look for something. All Tempest needs to do this game is just cover your lanes. Make sure that this Jarvan doesn't get to have access. We've already seen Cryo be a pretty big impact on this bottom side already, so making sure that we can track him. I want to see big vision denial come through for Stony Brook. We haven't seen them be able to really move their vision forward, and it's allowing for Maryville to take good spots, take good positions around the map.
I'm so sad that was a 1-for-1 too, honestly. I feel like the setup from Stony Brook was so good. Like, I'm going to be real with you. I think Poppy's LeBron James this game. Not only are you against Ambessa, Jarvan, but you've also got Veigar. We already saw the combo once. I kind of wanted to see Tempest make something happen, so the fact that it ends up being a 1-for-1, I think fortunate for Stony Brook at the end of the day. As Yana Hamasaila just overstays, Toasty Alex able to alley-oop for his Bard.
See, this is why we need the vision denial, though. Because if he had vision properly set up, I think Yamaha Masila doesn't feel like he's going to get threatened there. Keeper's Verdict is now used onto Shimmer, but we're okay with that. That's, I think, a perfectly fine timer for Shimmer to be looking. Now they have pressure through mid. If they want, they can try to start up this dragon, but I think what's going to be more important here for Shimmer is let's see if we can get rid of a third respawn of his Raptors. Can I maybe look for a bottom lane dive on this next wave? Because we have ultimates coming up.
Maybe don't even need the wave. Chubby Pig just going to take a bit of a trade with the enemy support. Fortunately, Keatong does have the TP to hopefully ward off any sort of aggressive look from Maryville, as it looks like Tempest did defend at least some of the chickens up towards mid lane as well. So everything just going to go back to neutral, but Maryville, 8 minutes into the game, Dimitri, they have built themselves about a 2,500 gold lead, which letting this team get ahead with this kind of composition just sounds like a terrifying prospect. Spyrax gonna be forced to cleanse and Killer Instinct away, as now Tempest flashes right into the wall, does find the star on the Bard, but Cryo's got a portal, and now he's in deep with Shimmer waiting in the wings and health bars low on both sides. Looks like Stony Brook, with the power of friendship, is just going to be able to walk away. But they might have walked the wrong way. Straight into the waiting arms of Toasty Alex. Temper Fate onto 2. Tempest in onto Shimmer. And that's going to be the first kill of the fight. Finally going down as Spyrax goes flash for flash with his opposite number. And now finds himself on the wrong side of the map. 2 for 0 likely coming for Stony Brook University.
They're fighting back in this game. Spyrax is going to give even more. This is his summoner spells now being missing. Sivir not going to collect this wave. It's going to be Yanaha Masila who gets this bottom lane. No, we're just giving it up. We're going to get our reset in, see if we can maybe contest the dragon on the bounce back. What is going on at Maryville? Mechanically, I think not playing up to snuff. We have a good ultimate there from Cryogen that I think slows down the fight. But Toasty Alex never really got himself into position to be a big carry in that fight. And we're seeing the value of having a Poppy versus so much dive.
Oh.
There we go. There's Alex. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a mistake from Yana Hamasaila. He had the TP, could have just used it, greets for the wave, and ends up dying. But I'm right there with you, Dimitri. I want to praise the target selection from Stony Brook in that previous fight. I think once Toasty did arrive, Stony Brook did a great job of just clamping down onto one member and removing the J4 from the engage. But I do agree that this Maryville team feels hard to rate for me for exactly the reasons that you mentioned. They're just a little all over the place, and I can't really decide if it's disrespect, growing pains, or just the team outright struggling. Regardless, the gold lead does remain around 2K.
I think you look at the strength of the opponents that they've placed and the fact that we're struggling not only against Stony Brook. Yes, Stony Brook is performing well here in this game. The draft definitely doing a lot of favors to them. Oh, Cryo's dead.
Ooh, nice solo flare from Ketong right there. Yeah, Cryo got a lot of healing. And Spyrax, he's threading back a lot of damage, but Chubby Pig, he's got a big enough health bar. Maybe going to be able to turn it around now into Spyrax. That's going to be exhaust going down from the spellbook as Spyrax eats a sword from Ketong. That's a 2v2 kill in the bottom lane for the Seawolves.
Okay, wait a minute. Now this game might be real interesting. Yamaha Sila teleports back again, almost
Another
dead
low
here.
health bar. This time, though, it's Tempest here for the cover as Yamaha Sila just killed himself. What is he doing? It's going to be a 1-for-1 at the very least. Shut down over to Tempest. He's going to get the wave. They get the assist money. Ultimately worth for Stony Brook, but weird looking.
Yeah, he loses his flash, which I think Vhagar as a champion, weirdly enough, doesn't always need his flash, but when you're playing against Bard, I think this is a very unique case scenario. Oh god, Crimson, that's a miss. Should still be fine.
I think they got him. No minions, but Crimson able to take up one more shot for his jungler, and Shimmer claims the kill. As even when Maryville is struggling, you cannot deny their ability in the 1 versus 1 and the 2 versus 2. Well, maybe not the 2 versus 2 this game, but the 1 versus 1. I mean, it's just been Alex and Crimson repeatedly getting their opposite numbers low. And Stony Brook, it feels like they have to do so much just to keep the game neutral. They do, at the very least, get a dragon with the enemy jungler showing top and get away with their lives.
Oh my god, it's 12 minutes and 3 grubs here for Maryville. I think is pretty meaningful. They are going on to Cryogen. Gets his flash out. They're going to be able to retreat.
Nice Tempered Fate onto the Poppy. Tempest is very low from that dragon. Here comes the Flag and Drag. Here comes Shimmer. He's got no Cataclysm, though. So likely the only kill, unless Toasty Alex has anything to say about it. Sivir gonna get taken out. Alex eats one more shot, and it will be a 3-for-1 at the end of it. Double kill to Spyrax.
Spyrax, we gotta look at what's under our turret, guys. There's an entire minion wave there. We gotta go back. We gotta pick it up. It'll be a play going over to Stony Brook in mid lane, but getting so much gold here for this bottom lane, getting Spyrax back into this game, I think very, very pivotal for them. And a good play, a good punish afterwards. It was no longer their play. Tempest, you probably just got to leave at that point. We're not going for another play. We don't have any buttons for us to look. Ketong also didn't land the ultimate onto the Bard. So Crimson and everybody from Maryville finding leads where they can. They are messing up mechanically some of these fights, but you can just see it reflected in the gold graph right now. 3,000 gold difference here for Maryville versus Stony Brook, and it looks like they're going to try and go for the first turret here.
I think Cryogen has just been looking for a fight every time he can. Crimson is level 11 as he half health dancing with the BL. Grab the flower. Grab the flower. He didn't grab the flower, Dimitri. He's just gonna die.
Good thing for Maryville. They're gonna grab the turret, the kill. Crimson take the flower. Oh well, now we're not.
Are we just gonna
know? Now we won't even see
leave the flower? I need to know if that flower is still there.
It doesn't look like it's on the mini map.
Okay, if you're able to maybe confirm for us, I'm gonna be very upset. That's a whole like 3 AD for your entire team, man. Like I've seen Aurelia get nerfed bigger than that.
Well, they're trying to make a click on a Spyrax. Gets out.
Okay, the Primordial Burst almost takes down the Kai'Sa. Shiver fancies himself a 1 versus 4. I don't know if this is the angle. He does have backup now. Tempered Fate goes wide, but that's going to be 2 in the Cataclysm. The chain CC from Stony Brook is better, though, as a shutdown goes over to the Chubby Pig. And now the Poppy. He's LeBron James. Crimson's getting burst down. It's another one for the Sivir as Toasty gets boxed out yet again. Tempest, the MVP of this fight, flashes away, saves his life. It's 2-0 for Stony Brook.
Look at the difference in our supports. We've been seeing support turn into who can get redemption first, but also we've been seeing the rise of more enchanter items. Mikhails is also opting in here for Cryo as a really interesting first buy. Gives you the ability to cleanse any CC that comes on through from Stony Brook. And while it was used on the Crimson there, I think the theory behind it and the ability for maybe this Maryville to play a little bit more explosive gives them options, as we saw. Shimmer sends his life in, isn't able to get too much on the back end, and it's still a mid-tier 1 that almost falls in favor of Stony Brook. I don't think they'll be able to play for the Herald right now, but Poppy is on her way, and Garen has the ultimate. Not level 11, however, very close.
Shimmer is at least continuing to defend the river, and Maryville, no matter how many blunders they seem to make, they have had full map control. It's going to be Spyrax and Shimmer taking down this Rift Herald uncontested. Stony Brook just trying to collect waves where they can. And the story feels to still be the same. Stony Brook takes one step forward, but Maryville just continues to take more.
Teva's got to be careful. It's him and Keetong that are pushing. Chubby Pig is half HP. I don't think this is a very real fight just to defend Stony Brook's topside camps. And I will kind of note that I think part of this game, we've been talking about the junglers. Obviously, Tempest has had a really big impact here for Stony Brook. I think the supports have been the most important part to either of their team's success. Keetong last week was a big proponent as to why they were to find 2v2 kills. Seeing Shimmer take this Herald down into the bottom side, he's going to get his driver's license. That's what I'd expect from our truck driver in the jungle. Oh, okay, that's not his fault. That's not his fault. That's a duration diff.
You know, could you say, as Dancing with the BL dies for the 5th time this game, that Shimmer is a good driver because he did not drive his car through a building?
True. That is usually not what you want to be able to pull off.
Toasty Alex's cage, that was a really nice Emperor's Divide, and the Solar Flare barely not able to find the CC. Now, with a lot of the crowd control gone for Stony Brook and the team split, it's actually going to be Maryville turning things around. Toasty with his 3rd kill of the game. Spyrax and Cryogen following in onto the fight. And although it looked like a nice angle for Stony Brook, once they fire the gun and the bullets go wide, Maryville, they got nothing left to fear.
The Seawolves not able to get much happening, and just look at the difference in supports. I mean, Keetong really didn't get much access into that fight, and yes, Cryogen was a little less impactful, but always having that Tempered Fate, I think, really, really big for this team. And Toasty Alex, I mean, he's just getting fed at this point, right? Like, we haven't really talked about the pick'ems for today, but he's currently he has to have 16.5 kills between this and the next game. Has 3 now, so you gotta get a little bit more work done, brother. Come on, I got you on the over. I was really excited about this matchup.
Yeah, for my parlay, he's gonna have to pump those numbers up. You know, he's playing well, that's for sure. Surprisingly, not the richest member on his team quite yet. That honor belongs to Crimson. However, this kill maybe will make the difference.
That's another one.
Yeah, that's going to be 4. Keetong and Tempest now on the wrong side of the map. There was a solo kill on the top side. Meanwhile, this fight continues as Toasty Alex burning down Tempest. The Solar Flare will delay the inevitable for just a bit longer, but Toasty Alex is not going to be taken down. And that's going to be public execution for Maryville as they find 2. Dancing with the BL does at least get a mid-turret for his troubles after taking down Spyrax, but Shimmer now on towards him. That jungler is the same level as the enemy top laner. The attack speed buff, Dancing with the BL, he doesn't have justice. He doesn't have justice. Shimmer follows him with the flash, and Shimmer is able to do it.
Oh,
and then Yana Hamasaila, he ran out of minions. Hey, that's another one.
That's
for
3
Toasty.
kills for this Azir in very little amount of time. I can tell that Spyrax is a real AD carry because he just went up on mid and died to the enemy top laner. You right there, you've earned my badge of authenticity. This is what every AD carry needs to do. It's kind of a rite of passage in the role. But I don't think it matters. Like, Dancing with the BL is so far behind. Yana Hamasaila is going to scale in this game, but I don't think that Stony Brook get the option. They don't get the time here in this game. The clock is winding down, and the only thing that's kind of going in their favor is that Maryville did not get the first 2 dragons in this game. There's not going to be really dragon stacking coming on through for the Seawolves, so in terms of being able to really fight, you have a 2-item Sivir, but she's under so much threat thanks to Azir and this Mbessa.
Yeah, this gold lead has exploded, will be the word I use, to a little over 7,000, a little under at the moment, kind of trading waves back and forth, but that is, it's what we say in the business, not good, I would say.
I think that's an expert opinion right there. I would have to agree with that. Tempest is in mid. He's
Toasty, he's getting knocked around. He is actually taking quite a bit of damage. Chubby Pig is he's gonna flash in to try to finish off the enemy mid, but Toasty Alex, he ends up surviving at the end of it. Spyrax gets the triumph, and that's just gonna be 2 dying for nothing for Stony Brook.
Now they're just going to teleport here from Maryville if they really want it. If they really decide to. We see that Crimson is in the enemy jungle. Crow can join him with a magical
13.
journey if they want to go for it. This is going to be the Otacon started here for the Saints. And it's 3 members strong, the Soul Lanes and Keetong. Big story coming into this year was whether or not Keetong was going to be able to lift this Stony Brook team to success as he did last year, but haven't really been able to see too much here in this series so far.
I've got to say, I respect the attempt from Stony Brook onto Toasty Alex right there. I feel like if you're going to win the series, you have to try and do something like that, but just wasn't really meant to be, unfortunately, much like Romeo and Juliet, or I don't know, pick your favorite star-crossed lovers. Maryville just extends their lead. They got an Otacon, and Dimitri, I think we know where this game 1 is going.
I mean, feats of strength, 3 turrets, 3 grubs, the Herald. It's kind of free. Keetong's going to be a free kill, has his flash, also has cleanse, so he does get out, but that's going to be more control of the bottom side, and we have Dragon spawning in a minute, so whether Maryville want to take a fight or they just want to go ahead and stack objectives, either way it feels like Stony Brook don't have very many options here as Maryville are choking them out with vision.
And as you so wonderfully highlighted earlier in the game, Maryville has really just done a great job playing around vision this game. Their understanding of map control definitely at a higher level than their opponents. They've even got some bar trying to keep Toasty Alex fully topped up for this fight as Chubby Pig has no flash. Great spell shield, avoids the Emperor's Divide, but there's no turret even to defend them. Cryogen takes it out, and that's 2 more quick kills for Maryville.
Hey, guys, I know you're playing right now. You're probably not listening to the casters, but can we please give Toasty a few more kills? This parlay has to be able to hit. Otherwise, Slade says, I'm not going to be able to eat later tonight. Yanama Silo, are we getting dove? Yes.
Well, unfortunately, Toasty's not even in these fights, as he was doing Krugs while that was going on. So it is another nice kill for Crimson, I believe was the one that picked that up. Now, I will say, Toasty, he needs 17 kills to beat this parlay. I feel like 7 is not a bad start in game 1. It just means he'll have to have a bigger game 2. Not only that, this game obviously still yet to conclude. We you know, Maryville, we're taking dragons,
legally,
we're taking
yes,
tier 2 towers. Yeah. So that just means Toasties could still pick up the couple more kills that he needs to kind of be on par, if you will, in this game.
Ah, that was pretty good. Yesterday, there was one of the bets, or one of the lines was Flowcon at 16.5. He had 10 in a single game, which is pretty impressive. Talking about this series, you're just getting owned. You're getting owned by the slow from Bard. If Cryogen is stopping a Garen from walking forward, this game's cooked. This game's getting even more. Never mind.
Okay, well, now we're going to get the Cryogen special, as he did face check an enemy jungle with no teammates behind him. But he's got a kills in a flash, so never punished. Never punished.
Continue to look. They're just pushing on mid. I mean, Toasty is getting waves on bottom side. They're using Crimson in mid lane.
Cryo?
Doesn't land it on the Sila, but the waves are in a really weird spot right now for Maryville. Like, the top lane hasn't hit at the same time as the rest of the waves. They don't have very much push to be able to hit these turrets, and I like the lane assignment so far from Stony Brook.
Stony Brook maybe going to try to switch things up. They want Toasty Alex. Now, this has gone poorly for them in the past, and it seems that Toasty is able to get away off our screen, while on screen, Dancing with the BL is overstaying yet again under a tower he just has no business defending. That's going to be 2 for the Saints, and the 6th outer tower going down.
Oh, man. Alex is now going to move into mid. Crowd gets engaged upon.
And Shimmer going to go deep into the team. Keetong taking a lot of damage. Shimmer likewise. As Toasty Alex, he fails to slide and glide, but I don't think it's going to matter. That's 3. That's an ace, and that's going to be the Saints marching in.
24.5 minutes, 30-10. If you just looked at the score, you would think, yeah, this was a pretty dominant game. If you looked at the gameplay, I think you might agree as well. There were moments here for Stony Brook, but not quite enough to get over the hump, and not enough to take over this game number 1.
Toasty Alex finishing the game with 9 kills. Overtakers rejoicing at him being on pace to get that coveted 17 that we all want to see. And I feel like the story just continues here for Maryville University. Shaky early games, questionable decision making, turning into just overall superior fundamentals.
Yeah, the map play was just so strong here from Maryville. The vision control was the biggest piece. Like, it's so difficult for Tempest to get plays done, and it's really hard for Yana Hamasaila to walk up into mid repeatedly when Azir has ultimate, and there's a potential Bard in your lane. There's a Jarvan sitting in fog. So always have to be kind of worried in the back of your mind that's going to happen. We got to see it really take control here in game number 1.
Yeah, and even with their scaling composition, as we've sort of routinely seen, Maryville's opponents don't oftentimes get that opportunity to really scale. And I think a lot of eyes on the solo lanes for Stony Brook. Yana Hamasaila, week 2's MVP, and so far definitely a struggle up against, well, Toasty Alex on the other side, one of the best mid laners that we have in this region. We'll see if the Seawolves can bounce back, or if this just is going to be Maryville continuing to march to their own tune. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon for game 2.
Excitement to every match and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the
Welcome back to the Division 1 stream, where Maryville University has taken a 1-0 lead over the State University of New York, Stony Brook. Stony Brook, like many teams have so far this season, showed us some interesting first few minutes against Maryville. Lots of kills back and forth, lots of miles going to be run by the Maryville players, but at the end of the day, I think the result about what we expected it to be.
It still ended in a Maryville win, so that's exactly where we're headed at. But there were moments in this game. We were thinking about the draft looked really good. Maryville have shown so far here in Division 1 that they're not the cleanest team by far. So the early games continue to be a little bit of a struggle, as it seems like this team is continuing to calibrate themselves week 3 into the program.
Yeah, it definitely feels like calibration. That's a great word to describe it. Maryville sort of figuring out how to walk in their new shoes, if you will, breaking things in. I will say Crimson looked great in the top lane last game. He didn't really do much with the team, but he had a very good individual performance, which is definitely what you want to see out of a young, new program member like himself. And for Stony Brook, I just want to continue seeing them go blow for blow with MU, even if they don't win this series. Show us something mechanically, continue to show us good decision-making, and can continue to show us that you can put together set-piece plays, especially in the early stages. As into the picks and bans, Mage is going to be the focus. Definitely been a favorite of both these mid laners. We saw the Veigar come out for Yanohama Asila in game 1. It wasn't great, but it was interesting.
It provided a lot of value in the space of being able to try to stop what was end up happening. Those fearless bans at the bottom of your screen are wrong. Those are champions that we actually saw, I think, last time, maybe yesterday. But
Kaisa is correct. And Jarvan.
Yes,
those
Jarvan
two are
is
correct.
They're just on the wrong teams. Also, Stony Brook had side select. They chose red for this game. We're having a lot of misbans.
We've now got a couple of Teemo bans. I'm pretty excited about this one. Hey, Dimitri, what do you think about the double ban meta? Does that mean we can't play Teemo the rest of the series? Is it also banned for game 3? I would love to know how this one works.
I'm looking in their chat, and Niles says, the draft tool doesn't have a sound that tells us it started, but tell them I'm punishing my team for not pulling grubs on spawn.
I don't honestly really remember when grubs got taken last game. Clearly not on spawn. Dragon certainly wasn't on spawn. Now, I would love to know if that tells us something. Maryville maybe a topside focus. They want to stay away from the chubby pig, who to me, him and Keetong were the bright spots of that previous game. And now with the chubby pig going onto the Zeri, it's another late game scaling hyper carry to try to get a lead onto Spyrax and try to carry the game.
Yeah, Zeri was also a champion that we saw banned in the last game, so I wonder if maybe there's a little bit more exploration. We've actually been seeing that Zeri Lulu has popped out to be a really, really strong bottom lane here in Division 1, so maybe we get to see that from Keetong. Obviously, we know him from years back from being a very big Enchanter player. And now Maryville, they themselves, they're going to opt in for the Lucian trade. This with Braum has been the go-to. I haven't been the biggest fan of it, but maybe we just try to go for the good old tried and true Lucianami. No, instead we're getting Alistar.
Yeah, it's gonna be Alistar. Look, lot of ways to proc the passive. You know, you got the triumphant roar. That's a really big one. No, but all jokes aside, I mean, it's an engaged support with Lucian. I feel like old heads remember these combos much better. I'm much more excited, however, by this R3 pick. We do get Dancing with the BL back onto the Auric. That was huge last week. Now, game 1 was a struggle up against Crimson, I think it's fair to say. Yeah. But maybe, on a more comfortable champion can try to show us just a little bit more.
I think also this matchup is really, really good for him. Obviously, Rumble has been receiving nerfs throughout the year, especially around his Q and his passive. So being able to fight against the Yorick, he gets to trap you in the Dark Procession, makes it very difficult for Rumble to live. We get into the second phase of bans. We have both of our top laners. We don't have a mid laner quite yet for Toasty Alex, and that doesn't seem like it's going to be the focus here in the bans. We're immediately getting the Lulu taken away by Maryville, and now Vi plus Xin away from Shimmer. So he's probably going to have to pick a new champion here. It is only his 4th game of the season.
Yeah, Pantheon, I believe, still in the cards. Obviously, the bans are a little bit wonky, but I think Pantheon's still in the cards here in this one. I could also really see like a Yone Sejuani just get slammed down here by Maryville on 4-5. Something along those lines, something aggressive that can set up the rest of the team. Speaking of the antithesis of aggression, we get Soraka for Keetong. We talked about how he likes to play weird stuff occasionally. I name dropped the Zillion. It's going to be Soraka. This is definitely another one of those special picks. It's really something that can top up this Zeri and this Victor, but what it cannot do is peel away Shimmer's signature champion.
I thought his signature was Udyr. Or Warwick, sorry.
Oh, it's Warwick. Okay, you're right. His other signature champion.
Okay, well,
it's like, if Warwick is John Hancock, the Rengar is like one of the other guys that signed that paper.
Wait, you don't know the other people who signed our Constitution?
It's a Declaration of Independence. See? First of all. What do you mean are? Are you from Canada?
I'm not. I live in Canada right now, but I'm from the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. Okay, well let's get away from our U.S. history here and let's talk a little bit more about League of Legends. We have a composition that I think could work here for Stony Brook. The problem is I don't see how you are able to live past a Syndra who's going to scatter the weak Q. I don't see very many options to play versus all of this like damage that's coming through from Maryville. And also Rengar as a champion can be deceptively tanky, especially with his W. So for Stony Brook, I feel like they kind of have to get ahead early, snowball a little bit, and then continue to be able to drag that lead.
I completely agree with you, specifically on the snowballing point. I mean, I look at Tempest going for this R5 Nefiri. Like, yeah, you can dodge like an Alistar combo or an Unleashed Power if you're really cool. But I really think that this champion and the rest of Stony Brook's composition just completely falls apart if you don't have a huge lead on the game. Because how do you actually acquire targets other than just like kind of running at them? But Maryville can just kill you if you run at them with the composition that they've put together. I mean, Alistar is pretty much the only hard CC on either team. I'm not counting Victor W. I'm not counting Soraka E. Syndra Scatter the Weak. Okay, well, I'll give that one. But like, I mean, Stony Brook, they just have some circles that you can't stand in, and otherwise you have complete freedom of movement, and that just scares me.
Yeah. The silence is pretty meaningful, I will say. Like, Maryville have a bit of range from their solo laners, but outside of that, the silence can be really, really annoying to deal with, I think is the appropriate word to use there. So yeah, there's not a ton of hard crowd control. I don't think they have very many ways of peeling for a Chubby Pig, who I think in the laning phase actually held his own versus Spyrax and Cryogen.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to watch what Maryville's bottom lane can do here in this game. We don't know how long. The only thing that Niles told us was that Jerry is currently on vacation. Now, the destination was Cancun. I don't know if that's a joke.
Feels like a meme. It feels like a meme.
Yeah. Cancun is the popular destination spot for sending many a pro player.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where Summit went after Team Liquid, if I'm not mistaken. Play, he's going to be in LRN or in promotion tournament finals, I believe. So that's pretty fun. I think we're going to replay the draft here. I think we know what to expect. Talking about the laning phase for Stony Brook, though, specifically, I do think I agree with you that they did hold their own pretty well, especially like kind of past the first couple of levels. I think once, Cryo really started roaming, that was the moment for Ketong and Chubby Pig to find their advantages. And this time around, shoes on the other foot. They've got the double range matchup. It's Cryogen on the Alistair that can get bullied out. So I do think this does leave the door open for Chubby Pig to have another good lane phase. And looking at the Soraka pick, you talk about the silence being impactful. I want to see how much of an enjoyer Ketong is, because there is a Rengar on the other side. Does Ketong know that when Rengar jumps in with his ult, you can just put the puddle beneath your AD carry's feet and Rengar can't do anything?
Rengar's like, I'm auto-attacking him. There's not much done. For everybody at home, we are currently having to remake the draft, but everything is done. So, Hawk, I think we got a lot of the draft there. We're going to have a lot of gameplay to go over. We're going to kick it to a short break, and when we're back, we'll have Game 2 between Maryville and the Stony Brook Seawolves.
Split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's match is...
And welcome back, everyone. We've made it into game. Pauses no more. We've got a Rengar on one side. We've got a Soraka on the other. It's dogs versus cats. Soraka's not the cat. That's the Nefiri. It's Maryville versus Stony Brook. And game 2, Maryville leading the series 1-0. And we'll see if in an interesting composition from Stony Brook has the teeth to try and take one and push this to a game 3.
We have so many little pets in this game. We're going to have the dog versus cat, which you noted. I'm going to consider Rumble kind of a little like mouse creature, almost like a rat.
Okay, yeah.
A little yordle. And then we have the ghouls from Yorick. So
true.
There's going to be a lot of random clutter on the screen. It's definitely going to be the case here in this game. And I want to see what Stony Brook are going to have cooking, because this is a draft that I think is pretty hard to execute, and we're expecting a lot out of them here in this game.
You know, if you really want to continue to the petting zoo, we do have a dog and I already said a dog. Sorry, a cow and a goat as well. So we've really just got like half the farm here.
True.
Well, Cryo, he did have a bit of a chunk taken out of him. Now, if I know anything about biology, it's that cows can survive having chunks taken out of them. So Cryo doing the same flashing in, okay, onto Chubby Pig. I think really just to assert dominance more than anything. And a solid health bar lead for Spyrax.
All right, well, GG, Keetong landed Q, so he already is going to start regenerating a lot from the Starfall passive. And then it's all about getting level 2 in this matchup.
Yeah.
It's double range, so it's going to be a lot easier for Stony Brook. This damage that lands now is fine. You can already see that they're starting to chug pots. They're getting at 2v2. I mean, Keetong is just slapping them with the stars here.
Oh, and that's another Q. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of healing. And remember, every single time Keetong lands one of those, not only is it going to heal him up, it's just a free heal for Chubby Pig as well. So I think Cryo may be going to regret going for that big trade early on in the lane. And already that 2v2 advantage that we wanted to see for Stony Brook starting to come online. Junglers sensing blood in the water as well. Started topside, pathing down.
What is Tempest doing? So Tempest started red buff, or started his wolves, his raptors, sorry, goes red, goes Krugs. I was thinking maybe he would go and start on, maybe try to look towards top side, but...
Ooh. Chubby Pig forced to flash. It's just going to be a big trade going the other way. Now, there is a minimum health threshold. Yes, Soraka can heal you, but you can't do that if you're dead. Chubby Pig needs to be careful for the near future. Talking about the jungle clear, though, I mean, maybe they were looking to catch Crimson on like a 3-wave crash on the top side, but it doesn't look like it's working out, as Dancing with the BL is taking a lot of damage. That is a lot of healing, though, for level 3 Yorick. Not enough, as the minions will finish the job. It's going to be first blood for Crimson.
All right, Dancing with BL probably just going to have to TP back. There will be a wave that is pushing towards him, but I think the minion wave, by the time it hits the turret, it'll be fine. So he'll catch all of this and feel pretty good about himself. We are seeing that junglers already. Shimmer's done with his clear. This is a 323 clear already done, and he has priority from his bottom side. So does Tempest actually get to have access to this bottom side scuttle? I don't think so.
Oh, and Keetong ends up stepping up, gets rooted, really nicely done. Almost saved by Cryogen, who does give his life for the cause, maybe needlessly, as it's ultimately a 1-for-1. However, the kill going to the right place for Maryville. Tempest is doing a lot of damage, taking even more. Chubby Pig trying to dash in to bail out his jungler, and that just ends up being 3-for-1 for the Saints in the bottom side.
It's a 4-for-1 in total. If you look at the kill total at the top of the screen, and 1,000 gold already being opened up here. Spyrax, maybe the Kai'Sa wasn't really his calling. The Lucian champion that has popped up in the mid lane quite a few times and already showing some of that prowess. You get to start off the game. 4 minutes, serrated Dirk longsword for Shimmer, and a pickaxe and a longsword here for Spyrax. That is pretty massive in these two lanes.
And remember, Cryo with the desync flash, he's going to have that one back up sooner than the bottom lane of Stony Brook to potentially make another play.
He has
all hope that we had.
Alistar.
That's insane. I did not notice that.
Electrocute proc!
Electrocute proc in the mid lane. Victor forced to flash away as Cryogen able to get one out of the enemy mid laner. Spyrax is taking a lot of damage for his trouble. He's going to be just fine. Chubby Pig trying to thread it, but it's Spyrax with the fade away. Dubstep double tap onto Keetong.
And he has the red buff, right? He helped get the kill on the Tempest. Never finished that blue buff. It's going to be finished now at 5 minutes. Chubby Pig by himself. That was a great
Surely.
timer for Cryogen to look for something. Toasty very close to level 6. So if he doesn't kill him on this wave, he'll probably just get him on the next.
I mean, Toasty, I think Yana Hamasila can take like, whoa. Okay. Toasty Alex looking a little worse for wear. He does have his jungler coming. Tempest, though, not going to be able to do anything as a good Scatter the Weak does scatter the dog away. It's going to be a dropped wave for Toasty Alex. However, I think with the CS advantage that he's got, it's not really going to be the end of the world. As Maryville, we could talk all we want about how unclean game 1 was, but they are kind of just winning everywhere. But he not for long, though, as Crimson did teleport back onto a minion against a level 6 Yorick. Not an advisable play. One more flash Q could do it. No, the scrap shield's going to eat it for the Rumble. Crimson, though, he does really want to pick up this wave, and dancing with the BL, that is a worth 1-for-1.
There we go. And look at this minion wave. It is massive. A lot of golden experience can be missed by Crimson. Cryo looking.
Yeah, there's that flash desync that we talked about. Takes a lot of damage, though, on the way in, and Ketong not going to get taken down. However, with Shimmer pathing down, hitting level 6, I think we're just going to see the thrill of the hunt 6 minutes into the game. Ketong, he's got to run for the hills, does have Tempest to try to body block. As Shimmer just goes right onto him. That's a lot of damage out of this Rengar, and Spyrax doesn't get the kill because it supports a scumbag. Now Chubby Pig trying to clear out the wave. And he will live, maybe temporarily. Spyrax trying to hold this one. Cryo hits level 5. And here comes the Hex Flash. Chubby Pig, he has no idea what's coming. It's gonna be a double tap, gonna be a quick trade. And I actually think the Zeri's gonna live to fight another day.
She gets to pick up the minion wave. I thought maybe that was gonna be Maryville's angle to go for the dragon. They instead opt to not go for it. Turns into a plate for Toasty Alex. It turns into a kill going on, 2 kills I should say, onto both Tempest and Ketong. I won't lie here. I am having so much fun watching Maryville not only kind of style on their opponents, but also just Cryogen playing.
Yeah. Like taking 1v2s? Now this, not sure about this one, Dimitri. Spyrax, he might live. No, okay, Starfall's gonna get him. So Maryville was trying to set up for the lane swap, and I think maybe Spyrax wanted to delay a wave so that Crimson could catch. Because look at where the wave is topside. Dancing with the BL, he's not even gotten this one in yet. So Spyrax kind of had a timer right there, but doesn't really end up working out. Looks
Electrocute Brock!
There's a big electrocute. I don't think it was needed for Cryogen this time.
Well, it means that Toasty Alex gets 1 kill. So he got 9 in the last one. I still need another 6 after this. Another 7, I should say. So really hoping that if you have the over-under on Toasty, try to hit your parlay for our pick'ems. Spyrax finally will pick up most of this wave, and now Maryville, they get to hit the grubs on spawn. This is a big part of why they lost their first 2 bans here in this game. And I'll be honest here, Hawk, I think we've talked about it. We've kind of been talking around it for part of the show, but this game in particular really feels like Maryville kind of playing with their opponents in this one.
Yeah, I would almost argue that was the last one. We saw a couple... I think I'm being generous when I call them ints for kills in the previous game. We saw a little bit of it from Spyrax's time, but I mean, they really are just styling. I think Crimson might even be able to force Tempest off the Dragon here. The Void Grubs get taken on the other side. Dancing with the BL, he needs to be careful not to die for this wave. This was a problem for Stony Brook in game 1. He might not even die for the wave. He might just die. Shimmer, he's got the thrill of the hunt, but Ketong with the flash and the silence. But they forgot about the bush jump. It doesn't matter, though. Dancing with the BL, he's able to pick one up, and the whamulence of Ketong keeps him alive.
That's a 500 gold shutdown, and the Dragon going over to Stony Brook turns into 2 plates here for Spyrax. So overall, it is a gold even trade, but feeling really good about your chances here in Stony Brook. Now they're teleporting the Yorick back in. He does have the Maiden still available, so I don't think you get to hit the 1v1 here. If he ever throws out a Dark Procession, that's essentially just saying, okay, let's see if you have your dash on cooldown.
Tempest gets a couple chickens for his trouble as well. As, Yama Hamasila, he is caught. Doesn't quite have flash for just a couple of seconds. The wish comes through, but the flash is not up in time. It's up now. However, Tempest, he is turning around this 1v2. Does at least make it a 1-for-1. As Chubby Pig, that was not a great equalizer from Crimson. Maybe fancies his chances, but the overheat about to come through by Sword. Crimson walking forward with the Flame Spitter, and that's going to be an overheat auto for the kill.
That's a huge kill, and Stony Brook fighting back in areas where Maryville feel a little bit weaker, where they are putting a lot of investment on top side. Shimmer made a play in the mid lane, was able to trade onto onto Yana Hamasaila, but still ends up going down. It is 10 minutes, and he already has a completed first item, similar with Spyrax and Crimson. So this is a point in the game where, yes, Stony Brook are finding advantages, they are finding response kills, but it's Maryville who I think are dictating the game to their opponents and get to have the lead now.
You see the gold grab dancing with the BL. He was one of the richest members in the game, but as you sort of mentioned, it doesn't really matter what Stony Brook's getting back if it's just Maryville always finding the initiations. And we're not done with them, as Chubby Pig, he is in Shimmer's sight. Here comes the Rengar, nice dash over the wall. Bola did go wide, and Chubby Pig able to disengage. Now Ketong potentially the focus. Shimmer goes on a Chubby Pig, that's gonna be a flash forced. But Tempest, he's here for the cleanup. Flash available on the Safiri, critically no ultimate to close the gap. And I think with the slows, that is going to be enough for Maryville to disengage. And with Seawolves committed on the bottom side, it's the Saints taking the first tower on the top.
Feats of Strength completed here. 11 minutes. First tower. They don't get the first dragon, but they get the grubs. Maryville very aggressive in this game. Coach Niles definitely getting on them here for their game. They are still making a few mistakes, but all in all, I think that they are keeping up the pace, and that has been the story of this series. Yana Hamasaila just getting solo killed there by Toasty. The fact is that Stony Brook, a large portion of pro play and being able to play at higher levels and competitive is being able to not only take turns, but when is it our time to actually make a play first? I feel like Stony Brook have been very reluctant to start plays.
They've not only been reluctant to start plays, but they've also been reluctant to match the bases of Maryville, which has led to problems, as we saw previously. Chubby Pig is the target, but Tempest is really strong on the Safiri. Fancies himself Crimson, does get the shutdown, does die for it. 2 for 1, yet again in favor of the Saints. And guess who started the play yet again?
Look at this, look at this. Toasty's on his way. Ketong, no flash. Prow has flash.
Yeah, he's cooked. Nice scatter from Toasty, understanding the range, and Spyrax not going to take a kill away from the Parlay Watchers. Toasty Alex needs just 4 more to put us on the over.
Okay. They get a turret on top side. It's a TP coming on through for Crimson. It's going to be a 2v1. Yana Hamasaila could also connect.
Honestly, I'm a little bit... I'm not that afraid for Maryville, actually. This York's not that strong. He doesn't have a Trinity Force. Crimson doesn't have a lot of heat. Wait, well, that was a lot of damage on the Spellblade proc. They end up just turning onto this Victor instead, but that does mean that Crimson does get left to the ghouls. Now he's working on Cryogen as Tempest has found Toasty Alex. Ketong gonna try to bail him out as the Unleash power not quite enough. Big scout of the week though, as the Electrocute Alistar arrives to not even proc the Keystone. Another one over to the Yorick. And this is a 2v2. Ignite going down. That's going to be big for the heal.
There it is.
Trying to keep this Yorick alive. One more spell would do it. And Toasty Alex is dominating. Soraka with no friends is just not useful. A 7th kill to the Syndra. We are 1 away from the over.
There we go. 16 kills between this game and the last. He needs 1 more for our pick'ems. And this game is over. We are 7,000 gold already here at the 13.5 minute mark. Spyrax has also been picking a ton of plates up here in the bottom lane. Cryogen doesn't have Ignite, but he does have this Electrocute ready to go.
I don't even know if they're going to need Cryo. Okay, well, with the wall dash, maybe they do. I think yet again, I don't even think Electric procced for the second fight in a row. Cryogen just has so many levels that the Pulverize just killed the Zeri.
Look at his items.
Pretty crazy. He's got a Magize! He's got a Magize! Oh my goodness. Cryogen with the first Magize Alistar that I think I've ever seen.
Magize Shirelia's Alistar.
I'm going to be honest, Shirelia's is a cook. I'm like here for that. But Magize is crazy work.
I definitely know Cryogen is having fun this game. He is for sure having his way in this one. Second dragon going over to Maryville, and at this point now, it's going to be a formality here for the Saints. How they close this out, how clean are they going to be looking, and talking about, I mean, we're 3 weeks in, and all of Maryville's tough opponents are already gone. A 2-1 win versus Winthrop, a 2-0 versus St. Clair. Maryville are very much on the way to an undefeated season.
Yeah, there's a Maji's Alistar in your lane. Dancing with the BL. He goes down. You know, do you think Alistar, like in the lore, can read Maji's Soul Stealer? Like,
well, he can speak, so I think the highly
he can
likelihood
speak.
is that probably.
I mean, hey, there are plenty of people out there that you know struggle to read. As Yamahama Sila, he is actually living. Okay, that's pretty nice. I'm just saying. I feel like
the Magi stacks. No.
Oh, he dodged a scatter. Oh, he puts it into Toasty. Wait, he just sacrifices mid laner for the Magi stacks, and it doesn't matter. Toasty didn't die. What? That's so disappointing.
Are we betting against the Magi stacks? Like, okay, let's start this. Let's try to get chat involved as well here. Do we think Cryogen is going to end with 25 stacks in this game?
End? Yes. He's going to die here, though. Tempest surely has this one. Surely. He missed a Q.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, he missed a Q. Cryogen lives. 22 Magi stacks in the bank.
Oh my god, Spyrax. Okay, there's the heal. That's the last one from Ketong.
Oh, Ketong, he's got like no HP. Oh my god. Okay, everyone chill out. Everyone stay calm. 25 to 8 is the kill total. It's 10,000 gold lead. I don't really think there's much to analyze about this one, Dimitri. I think it's mostly just kind of sit back and enjoy the carnage. Like, I feel like I'm watching like a Fast and Furious movie, but like in League of Legends terms.
There's no family here, at least from my side. Yes, I'm maybe watching the Saints play. You know, they usually try to have a family unit when it comes to their team. Stony Brook, we talked to them in week 1 and weeks 2, and it kind of feels like, yes, they have some remaining pieces from last year's lineup, but some newer players on the team makes it a little difficult to grow that kind of bond, at least early on into the season. So we'll see what Stony Brook can do, but this is all but a loss at this point.
I think what they're going to do is die. Ketong, it's only a couple of autos to knock him down. Chubby Pig takes a lot of damage from Shimmer as well. That's going to be a flash auto. And Toasty Alex here to bail out his jungler. That's just a quick 3 for nothing. Dancing with the BL did at least get a turret on the top side of the map, but I don't really think it matters at this point.
All right, we need to start pushing the goalposts now. We're getting the Herald spawned in mid. Yanama Sila is dead. Let's use the flash. Spyrax
Maybe
doesn't
not.
get him. Okay, so he lives. We're getting
He's
the
a survivor.
inhibitor at 17.5 minutes. What I was going to say is, so Cryogen is currently at 25 stacks. Do we think that we get to see a 15,000 gold? Not 15, actually. I think I got to bump it up. Do we see a 20K gold lead in this game?
I think the answer is no, because I think Maryville might end the game just in the next couple minutes. Like, we won't even have a chance to see a gold lead that big. Like, we're already at 15K. I don't know, maybe 5,000 feels pretty attainable. I'm honestly surprised Maryville didn't just end the game on that push, though. Like, I was thinking to myself while you were talking, somehow Mad Lions lost a minute sooner than that.
It turns out Mad Lions in T1 might be slightly better than Maryville and Stony Brook. I guess I've never seen Faker.
Honestly,
I've never seen Faker and Toasty in the same room.
So real. I subscribe. I do think, you know, Mad Lions honestly remains to be seen if they're better than Maryville University. T1, I'll give you, but maybe Mad Koi can redeem themselves. They did just qualify for Worlds. As the enemy Alistar is a higher level than the jungler. That is I
mean, if we're talking about comparing accomplishments, technically between Faker and Toasty, they have 5 world champions split between the two. That's a pretty impressive stat.
That's very true. That's a great stat. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. As I think this is going to be the end of the game. Let's see if Maryville can do it in sub 20. I do not think we're going to hit that 20K gold advantage, as looks like we're topping out at around 16,500 right now. A couple more turrets to knock down, a couple more minions to kill.
2 kills. Come on.
Honestly, some more people to kill. That could be some gold. As Cryo pulls the trigger, he half-elves to Victor all by himself. He's got 25 pages in the book, mind you. As Tempest one-shot this Lucian. Flash away from Crimson to save his own life as well. Remember, gotta make sure we don't give over any kills so that the 20K gold lead is a possibility.
Okay, 3,000. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah,
3,000 gold.
Crimson, he's got the TPs, almost certainly going to come back with it. Big scatter, that's going to be another kill on a Chubby Pig. Not quite, because the Soraka saves his life. I'm
Spyrax, come on,
legitimately afraid
man.
of Cryogen 1v1ing someone. He finds Tempest. The dog is still barking, but this Yorick also will. The Soraka is saving everyone, and that's going to be the series. Maryville in 2006.
Wow, I think we spent more time on the break screens in between games than we actually did on the Rift itself.
Yeah.
A domination coming in from Maryville, not unexpected here tonight. They're going to go and move up to 3-0, continuing their streak. And looking forward at their schedule, they're going to probably end the first half of this season completely undefeated, because tonight, Stony Brook, a 2-0. They're going to go up against West Virginia next week, and then Boise State the week afterwards. That's a 5-0 start here in Division 1 in my mind.
I think it definitely could be argued that it's a 7-0 start. Maryville, we all had them pegged as the favorite coming in. And while, yes, anything can absolutely happen in Collegiate League of Legends, one of the constants has been Maryville standing head and shoulders above pretty much any other program. There's only been a very small handful that have been able to stand in their way. I will say, one of those is named Winthrop University, but they already played.
True.
So it's looking tough for the rest of Division 1 to climb this mountain. And as for Stony Brook, we came into the series saying, hey, maybe they could be the 4th place team. Jury's still out on this one. I don't think we got a lot of information.
I still feel that from the games that we've seen, Ohio State is confidently our 4th seed, but I think perspectives might be skewed when one team has to play against Winthrop, or St. Clair, who we do have as a top 3 team here in the league, and Maryville, who absolutely dominated them from minute 0 onward. Even did it with 2 less bans here in game number 2.
Hey, man, the Teemo ban was really serious. Don't disrespect, okay?
The double Teemo ban was very necessary.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's a Teemo ban. They just missed bans. We just have a placeholder for them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you never know. Dancing with the BL, he pulled out the Yorick, but you never know when Teemo could become a big threat. Speaking of Teemo and speaking of top lane, we have gotten word that our interview will be with the victorious top laner of Maryville University, Crimson. I think he's still getting set up on the production end of things. So kind of give it a couple minutes. We'll go ahead and throw it to a break for just a few. Don't go anywhere because we want to hear from Crimson. See you then.
Will play out. Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct...
And welcome back to the Division 1 stream, where Maryville just took a massive 2-0 victory over Stony Brook. And we are now joined by the victorious top laner, Crimson. My friend, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Awesome. Yeah, it definitely looked free, especially in the second game. I mean, I just got to ask you right off the bat, you know, you're one of the new members on this Maryville squad, and I think we all know the pedigree that Maryville has and brings to the table. I'm curious about sort of your journey of making your way to this program and starting your first year in the collegiate space. Or yeah, like how you've come to join Maryville now and kind of what you're looking forward to from the season on the squad.
You've got a pretty famous coach in Niles, helping out. Obviously, helped Zamudo, previous top laner. I wanted to ask, like, what has been the difference, because you have been essentially like a franchise player over on CCG in the NACL. So, like, what has been the difference playing over there and kind of being here at Maryville and having Niles behind you? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like that's always one of the things that we've heard about, like, you know, really leveling up teams is that ability to just be together and be in person. I mean, it's such, to me, one of the coolest opportunities that collegiate brings to the table, on top of, you know, all the great stuff like getting an education and getting to play games too. But
Sure.
I know, Crimson, you've stated one of your goals. You want to play against your brothers in the LCS one day. I'm still a believer in, like, you're going to be a future LCS player. I see it. But if that one doesn't work out, would you ever drag Sniper and Viper, like, back down here to collegiate, get them into this craziness?
Why don't you guys just make a team? You've got Sniper, who, I mean, currently sitting on the bench for a little bit. We have you, obviously, and then Viper's like role swapping. The three of you are
Right.
really close to making a full-on competitive team coming on. Just get two of the homies to slide.
Crimson, would you ever roll swap? Would you ever roll swap to mid for your brothers? Back to mid.
I would only do it just for fun, honestly. Like, after like my pro career, and like I feel like I'm satisfied, assuming I joined LCS. Those are like the conditions I feel like that would have to meet.
Understandable.
Very real.
Understandable. Well, jokes aside, well, actually, maybe not. I don't know. This has never really happened before, but I know you said at the end of the interview you had a question for us. So, I'm just gonna leave the floor to you, my friend.
Sure. Yeah. No. So on our team, we have like a couple rules where we're not supposed to die down numbers, like as a team. And if we don't die numbers throughout the whole series, our coach Niles will give us a free dinner. So I want you guys' opinion on both the games. You guys get to decide if we get to have the free dinner or not.
Oh wait, I don't want to do. Oh god.
Wait.
Okay.
Look,
you guys lost 2 bans in the second game because you guys didn't show up to Grubs. I remember that was something that we brought up on the show. There were a couple of moments in game 1, and just game 1, honestly, because game 2 was a smash. But game 1, you guys were a little bit looser. I need you to talk to young Jalal over there and tell him to not die on midwave to Garen, preferably. I will opt on the side. Go ahead, Hawk.
I was gonna say I think the team gets dinner, but Jalal doesn't. I'm sorry.
Well, I can agree with that.
I think it was only him. I think it was literally only Spyrax. I feel like he shouldn't ruin it for everyone. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, we had Cryogen going full AP, like full stacked Magi's electrocute Alistar in game number 2 for some reason. Shimmer died a few too many times for my liking on the Rengar. There's a lot of times where he kind of just like sent himself in and died. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that idea though, Hawk. I think Jalal's earned a lot of MVPs in his time. We can cut the food for this.
Yeah.
Week.
Jalal can go get a McDonald's meal deal. The rest of the team, Korean barbecue. Okay, that's...
There you go.
Well, that's big. Let's go. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Crimson. Before we let you go, any shout outs, anything else you want to say?
Shout out to everyone here. Shout out to my team. Thank you guys for casting the games. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for playing. As
you.
always, a pleasure to follow your career. Crimson, enjoy the victory. Go enjoy dinner. Make sure Niles pays for it. And for the rest of us here, that's about gonna do it. I mean, Maryville moving their way up the standings. I think to the expectation of many, but Dimitri, still the fashion in which they do it, surprising us every time.
You know, I wish the early games were a little bit more chill, but they're gonna get it. Hopefully, they're gonna get it. They've got a bunch of a single round robin, so yeah, I think Maryville are still looking like the best team here in the league, and hopefully they can continue their undefeated streak going through.
Yeah. I like how Crimson's still here, just hanging out with us. Production hopefully will free you soon.
There we go.
There we go.
He's free.
Let's go. Thank you guys.
Oh, yeah. Thanks again to Crimson for joining us for the interview. Oh, man. He could cast with us anytime he wants, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, okay, last time, let's not give him that much freedom, because last week, or I think the week before, he was in the middle of playing a series, and I needed him for ACL. So that was not great, and I was looking for him and music, and they were like, oh, I thought we were rescheduling that game. And then I talked to Lotus, their opponents, and Lotus also said, yeah, we didn't actually know we were playing tonight. So that was very fun to try to get both of them on while they were not playing. That was the series where Spyrax was top lane.
Yeah. Wow. Always a fun time in the NA amateur and collegiate space. But Maryville, they continue to do what they do best. No matter who's playing, no matter where Spyrax is. You know what? Maybe Spyrax should get to eat just because he's like taking one for the team. I know. I think we've already cast him to a hungry night. But yeah, I mean, just to kick it over to Stony Brook one more time before we kind of send things off, Dimitri, any thoughts on their performance? I know it's tough going against this Titan that is Maryville, but any positives to take away? I
think Chubby Pig and Ketong still prove to be like a bot lane that actually can play. I feel like they also don't get a very fair shake because they don't play against the quote-unquote real bot lane of Maryville, so kind of have to look at it from a certain lens. And most of these junglers that we're going to see in this league are going to either survive or struggle based on how their solo lanes do. I think Tempest had a lot of okay moments throughout the series, but unfortunately wasn't able to convert into a win just because you looked at the rest of the map and everything was on fire.
Yeah. I can definitely follow you there. I mean, jungler, and man, this role sucks when no one's able to do anything with
Poppy?
you. Yeah. Dude, that Poppy had like 2 fights. I think of the one fight specifically in mid lane where like they killed like 2 people and all got out. I was like, oh my God, this Poppy is insane. And then that was pretty much the high point of the entire series for Stony Brook. But that was awesome. And so I do think the fact that there was those moments does make me excited for Stony Brook. They are still 2-1. I'm really looking forward to seeing them play a team somewhere more in the middle of the spectrum, like a St. Clair, like Ohio State, someone that they will likely be able to hang with, but maybe on paper, they're still not quite on the level of. But
in 2 weeks, they're going to play against Ohio State for Stony Brook. So that'll be our battle for 4th.
So don't miss that, but also don't miss out on tomorrow where we've got a special edition of Tuesday Division 1. It's going to be West Virginia up against Boise State. You're not going to want to miss it, but until then, I've been Ben Hawkins. That's been Dimitri Battery. I don't want to dox you, so I won't say your last name.
Oh, what you dox yourself, but not me? Toledo.
I don't
last
know.
One's Toledo. Close out the show, Hawk. Get us out of here.
And make sure give Ice Fire Ride and Caddy some love behind the scenes and everybody else. Let's get out of here. Thanks for watching.
The higher you climb on that leaderboard, at the top you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split.
No notes, guys. No notes.
No notes at all, yeah.
And keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in.
You know what? I had fun.
Thank you, Maryville. 2-0. We're done in literally under 2.5 hours. The goats. Oh, we're hot mic'd. Base. Well, I already left the EV mix.